Okay, good evening everybody and welcome back to Press Play. I'm your host JJ48 and tonight we are continuing with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords, I believe is the tagline. And before we actually get started in the game, I did want to go over something that I had missed last week. And as you can see, should be able to see, when we were going through all the hollow journals last time, there was a sequence for opening a door, and where we were given the first three numbers of 5, but not the last two. And in the end, ended up just breaking the console and forcing the door open rather than solving the puzzle. But I did want to quickly show that we did in fact see the solution, or the clue that would lead to the solution. We just, or rather I just didn't recognize it at the time. And so as you can see, we heard the first three numbers in the when we had the hollow journal of the guy actually talking, and we're hearing him talk. But then we also found this sequence being transmitted, and you might notice if at first I was thinking, okay, it's just these numbers and it doesn't have the last two. I had completely missed the fact that, okay, it has these symbols before the numbers. So 3 dots before 3, which kind of indicates a dot equals 1. Dash X and 2 dots is 17. So if the 2 dots are 2, then we have 15 equals dash X. And that becomes even more clear if we go to the next one. Dash and 3 dots is 13, so we know dash is 10. X must be 5. So then we have X is 5 and X dot dot is 7. And then of course it gave the clue to reverse that, so we ended up with the actual result code would have been 7, 5, 13, 17, 3. So one of the things I also want to comment is I actually like how they did this puzzle, because they did in fact give us the solution to the puzzle, or the means to solve it. But at the same time, we did have the ability to just break the console and move on. So if we do that, then of course we feel like, oh man, it didn't solve the puzzle. I feel kind of dumb about that. But it doesn't just halt the game. We can move on. We don't have to. We're not just stuck, sitting for hours on end trying to find what a solution is if we can't. So, good way of doing that, of balancing the ability to solve the puzzle in the game and the narrative. So, alright, let's go over to the game. There we go. And last time, you might recall, we had managed to get off the station onto this ship that had docked. And what we're now trying to do is we're going to be moving through the ship, trying to get to the refuel port, so that then we can take the fuel line back into the station, into the docking area, where we can get on board the Ebonhawk and actually escape. So right now we're in the med bay. We have Atten and Kreia with us, as well as this droid we fixed up that I think that it said that it should follow us around and try to heal us, which is kind of nice of it. Okay, we have credits and a med pack. And one thing, when I'm searching stuff, I had somebody comment that sometimes I go kind of fast on reading things off. We're going to be seeing a lot of credits, med packs, components, chemicals, like just very common things that we expect to get a lot of. Some grenades, so I might not read those off as much, and just focus on if we find like really cool items or something. hopefully the sound's not too loud or too quiet. Oh. Okay, Kreia made us... I guess Kreia made us fast, 'cause I don't think I've got... I don't think I hit my super speed. Just goes back there. Okay, where was that? So, once again, I have to say I think these cloaked Sith are doing an absolutely abysmal job of... Wait a second. Atten should be able to open these up, I think. Yeah. Doing an absolutely abysmal job of trying to be stealthy. I mean, they just kind of stand there invisible, so we don't see them, but then they don't even take advantage of that. They kind of wait for us to attack first anyway. Okay, here we got some spacers sensor. Let's see what that is. Components, parts, and some stamina.
Let me take care of this.
Yeah, that's why I asked you to. And a longsword. Okay. What is this? How do I thought there was a filter I could save just new ones. Okay, at least it highlights new ones. Looking for this spacers sensor, which was a headgear. Ah, here we go. Okay, bonus feat. Blaster pistol, weapon focus, blaster pistol and blaster rifle, dexterity +1. These visors are often used by smugglers and others who desire better combat skills, yet are too focused on other endeavors to learn them normally. It's basically too lazy to learn how to use a gun, just put these on and you're all good. Okay. So let's see, does it add... We've given him a rifle. Does he already have weapon focus rifle? No. He does. That's kind of useless for him. Okay, so we'll just leave him with what he has. Okay, we have a blue door, so that's going to lead to a new area. Blue on the map here. So, we'll keep on up. See, we walked right past you, and you guys could have attacked us as we passed, but you waited for us to turn around and notice you.
More where that came from.
And when we found him, didn't Atten initially say, like, he thought that the Sith had won the Jedi Civil War? Like, look at these guys. How could you possibly think that they had won? I have a bunch of droids here. Okay, credits. Droid maintenance datapad. Rakatan band. Oh, that sounds interesting. We'll have to see what that is. Some adrenal strengths. What's the datapad? Droid maintenance log. I don't know whether this new HK50 droid is a gift or a curse. After the destruction of the previous protocol droid when it accidentally activated that frag mine, the HK has stepped into its place without a hitch. The problem is, it doesn't take commands very well, and most of the time I have no idea where it's been. There's been reports it's been sighted in the crew quarters with the captain, in maintenance, and even in med lab of all places. Okay. And when I ask the droid about it, he gives me a smart mouth response about facilitating communication. I don't know who commissioned these HK models, but I don't like them. So, referring to HK50, as it turns out, what, bounty hunter, assassin, something droid that was trying to capture us, and we ended it last time. And one thing I was deactivated. Okay, all these guys are just deactivated. Nothing. Oh, protocol droid. Unlike the others, this protocol droid appears to have been purposely sabotaged. Ah. Okay, so HK probably purposely sabotaged it so that he'd get the protocol droid job and be able to move about the ship doing his sabotage work. But one thing I was actually thinking about this week with HK is, he had the kind of speech mannerism of prefacing everything he said with what, like, the tone is, statement. I am going to say something. Condescending explanation when he would condescend to us, or irritable explanation. And he had all these modifiers that were actually quite entertaining to read and help to give the game away a bit of what he was actually up to. But one thing I was realizing is, as funny as those were, and as bad a habit as it would be for a we're gonna have to go to the other side, for an assassin or bounty hunter or whatever to have that, it could actually serve something of a purpose into why he was built to do that. Because I was thinking initially, the HK type droids were probably actually designed to be protocol droids, and if they're meant to go around and translate and credits in a med pack, if they're meant to go around and translate and kind of help people understand each other, and then it might actually make sense to have them, as they're translating, explaining what the speech is like. Because of course, if things like irritability, sarcasm, condescension, these are all things that might not translate well if you aren't familiar with how somebody else, some other species, or even just somebody who speaks a different language, is talking. So it might, when they're translating what someone else says, it could make sense for them to explain, oh, this is them being condescending. Oh, this is them being sarcastic. Oh, this is them just making a joke, not being serious. And then, of course, it just becomes rather silly when, I guess because he's programmed that way to do that, he also applies it to his own statements, and you'd have to kind of wonder how nobody on board the ship figured out what he was up to before he had accomplished it. But
I have a bad feeling about this.
okay. Would you stop saying that? Or what's wrong? Your bad feeling is going to be replaced by blinding pain if you don't be quiet. Or save your feelings for when we're out of here. Just shut up and keep moving. Okay. Okay, so let's see. What would be a good response for that? Oh, just a second, I need to quickly adjust something on my TV because I can't see part of the screen. Be right back. Sorry about that. There was a bit of paper was blocking the corner, so I couldn't really read stuff very well. Okay, so let's see. How are we going to respond? So I think we wanted to We said we were going to try to be a little bit snarky with Atten, but not just cruel. So I'm not sure just outright threatening him by hitting him if he doesn't be quiet. That might not. Great. What's wrong? Would you stop saying that? Might be a good one.
I can't help it, don't you feel it? Something's gonna get real wrong, real quick.
Okay. How do you know that? We'll have to be careful then, but we have to keep moving. Save your feelings for when we're out of here. Just shut up and keep moving. Yeah, there'll be plenty of time to feel stuff once we're gone. Right now, we just need to be completely blindsided by anything.
Alright, but don't say I didn't warn you. Trust me. When it comes to staying alive, I'm rarely wrong about these things.
Okay. Atten has the special ability to sense anything that places him at risk. When he gets a bad feeling, it's recommended that you save your game. Okay. There we go. So, I mean, presumably, so Atten had his bad feeling, and presumably he still has a bad feeling. Should I be continuously saving my game as long as he's continuously having a bad feeling, or is it just when he switches into bad feeling mode? I probably should have seen about giving that sword to Kreia, 'cause... oh boy.
I have come for the Jedi.
This battle is mine alone. I am not defenseless.
He cannot kill what he cannot see, and power has blinded him long ago. Run! I shall be along shortly.
So, I take it you know him? Okay, so that's like the third or fourth time we've seen this happen. The first time, of course, being in the tutorial of the last game. We had almost made it to the escape pods, Dark Jedi showed up, and our tutorial companion was like, oh, I'll hold him off, you run, get to the ship, or to the escape pod. And we never saw him again. Then it happened again when we were facing Malik, and had almost beaten him before Bastila got involved and said, oh no, go, run, I'll fight him. You're too close to beating him to keep fighting, I guess. And basically kind of didn't really accomplish much other than falling to the dark side. And then now we have here where, I mean, we're not Revan this time, so it's technically not the third time it's happened to us, but it's have a Dark Jedi appears and somebody from our party runs off. Oh, I'll hold him off. Although this time, the fact that it's so early in the game, I'm not sure that we could have just beaten him soundly, so I don't think she's just stupidly running in and with no point. And she actually seems to know this guy and feel confident that she can beat him, so we'll go ahead and trust her that she knows what she's talking about. Okay, just some chemicals. Okay, we'll have... and you're up.
Let me take care of this. Pure Bazak.
Some chemicals, a reflex package, and a vibroblade. Okay, Harbinger maintenance control system damaged. Okay, we can either try to reroute the maintenance control system or slice into it. Let's go ahead and try to repair it, because we might need the computer spikes to try to do stuff within the system. Okay, you have rerouted the system and accessed what remains of the ship's maintenance routine capabilities. Okay, we open it. maintenance door to the ion engines. Okay. Unlocking maintenance door to ion engines. No unauthorized personnel permitted. Okay, I will make sure that there are no unauthorized personnel as I go in and look through the place. Come on, Atten. We need to go search out, make sure no unauthorized personnel have gotten into the route we're using. Okay, let's... I wonder what this place was. Components, parts, and computer spikes. Okay, nothing... Yeah, that's all there is here, and a workbench. So... I don't know, just a little machine shop, I guess? Okay, that's the door we just unlocked, so that would have been closed if we hadn't gone in. Okay, now things are getting red. Okay. So, is that the engine, I guess? I would think you'd want more walkways and things around it so people could access stuff. Or even if you didn't need to access all over it, at least some place around it you would think maintenance would have to get to, but I guess maybe there's a reason they don't want stuff around it and there's like little deployable walkways or something that they can remove. Yeah, this one's same thing. So this one has this tube running by it. Is it the fueling tube? Main ion engine control. Okay. System operating at minimal efficiency. What is the engine maintenance procedure? Ion engine maintenance procedure. Engine coolant activated. Hatch unsealed. Okay, so that's... I guess that makes sense. In order to get into the fuel line, we're going to have to somehow enter the system. So, okay, so this one, there's a way inside of it.
Tell me you're joking. We are not going to cross back into the Paragas facility through the fuel line. That's crazy.
Atten, that's been the plan since before we boarded this ship. How are you just now objecting to it? Okay, so it's the only way to get around the sealed door and into the hangar where the Ebonhawk is. Or Atten, you need to trust me. Come on. The past few hours have been crazy in case you were sleeping. Now keep moving. Or then stay here and die. Yeah, Atten, have you not been paying attention at all to what's been going on? Like, if you've got other options, by all means, speak up.
All right, but I know I'm gonna regret this.
Is that a bad feeling? Should I save?
Sense you, my master. Faint, weak.
Your senses betray you, as you betrayed me.
After all that's happened, still you live. You are difficult to kill.
For one as limited as you, perhaps. To have fallen so far and learned nothing, that is your failing.
The failure is yours. No longer do your whispers crawl within my skull. No longer do I suffer beneath teachings that weaken us. And now you run in search of the Jedi. They are all dead, save one, and one broken Jedi cannot stop the darkness that is to come.
Perhaps we shall see.
Oh, it was rather disarming.
What's wrong? Are you all right?
Damn it, hold on. It's only a little farther. Don't give up on me now.
What happened to you?
My hand felt like it was being dipped in molten carbonite. Kreia, I think she was wounded. Badly. I don't know, but we need to keep moving. Nothing. Let's keep moving. Wow, okay, so apparently whatever happened to Kreia, she lost her hand, and we didn't lose ours, but we felt it. So let's go with hand felt like it was being dipped in molten carbonite.
You look fine. Come on, we need to keep moving.
Okay. So before it was, oh, I don't want to go into the fuel tube. Now it's, hey, let's go into the fuel tube. Hey, is that T3?
It's a utility droid. Looks like it's been hit with an ion charge and dumped here.
Hey, I know, we ran into the protocol droid earlier. He attacked us too. Can you travel, T3? Warm up your systems and let's go. We may still have a use for you. Follow me. I get the feeling that T3 is probably going to be... He's probably going to respond best to... I'm assuming he's going to respond best to like being friendly towards him or treating him as, you know, a member of the team rather than just, you know, a piece of equipment. So let's ask if he's all right. Can you travel? Okay. Then let's go. Come on then, we have to hurry. All right. Yeah, let's go, buddy. T3 has joined your party. He has the ability to make programming spikes on demand and can also upgrade items if asked. Okay, so he's like a little mobile workbench as well as able to make programming spikes. That's kind of cool. Okay. Game seems to... There we go. For some reason, on those screens, the games need to click on it a few times before the game will register. All right, let's go ahead and T3 probably needs a lot of dexterity. Okay, so just give him all of his orange stuff, all of his class skills. Be pretty useful, and he can repair stuff and use computers and unlock stuff if we ever need to take him with us. Okay. Alright, what does he have? Logic upgrade. Having witnessed the effects and actions of combat firsthand, the droid is able to self-upgrade its defensive algorithms. This feat is always active and grants defense bonuses in combat. The bonus starts at +2 at level 1 and increases by +2 for every subsequent 6 levels. Okay, so he'll keep getting defensive bonuses as he levels up. That's good. He has blaster integration. The feat gives droids the ability to integrate blasters into their frames to act as self-contained weapon systems. Special universal ports allow internal placement of most models of blaster pistol, tapping the energy pack and emitters as though factory installed. I think that's mainly just a way of explaining why he doesn't hold a blaster. He just kind of has a default blaster port that pops out and shoots things. He has droid upgrades, so we can give him toughness. We can give him demolition skill. Dual strike. Character has advanced training using teamwork to defeat enemies. When attacking an enemy that another party member is also attacking, the character gets +2 bonus to hit. That could be useful. Okay, 2 weapon fighting. Skill bonus to demolitions and stealth. Skill bonus to repair, security, and computer use. Or weapon focus blaster pistol. Let's start with this. Since he's always going to be part of a team when he's out, having the ability to hit things easier if teammates are hitting it will always be useful if people are attacking, and it also means that if we're having trouble even hitting an enemy, if we have more teammates with this, we can just have everybody focus on that enemy instead of fighting other ones, and it should help everybody hit easier. So, yeah, if we give everybody that feat, I mean. So, okay. Oh, concealed stash. Hangar 25 control conduit. Components and repair kit. What's the Hangar 25 control conduit? It looks like the container was deliberately tossed here. The control circuit looks important. Okay. This conduit looks like it was surgically removed from a critical door control circuit and dumped down in the fuel lines along with T3. Without it, it would be almost impossible to open the door it is normally connected to during an emergency lockdown. Okay, I'm a little bit confused about this emergency lockdown because on the one hand, we had the door to the elevator that we were trying to get on, or the turbo lift, I should say, was wired in such a way that if we destroyed the terminal, it would just pop open the door. Like, the door is locked, but you destroy it, destroy the terminal, and the door opens up. Now we're being told that, oh, hey, these doors apparently, whatever door this is a part of, it's nigh impossible to open without fixing this thing. So I'm not sure, why are some doors defaulting to being locked down and others are defaulting to... Oh, no, don't you even. This guy's trying to heal the one we're attacking. Can you guys stop attacking us from... Oh, and you stop again. There we go. Can you guys just stop attacking long enough for us to loot the stuff around here, or see if there is any loot around here? See, like, there's these perfectly lootable remains with the minor sonic detonator, grenade, anything else? Another grenade. Sonic grenade, droid ion striker, okay. Oh, speaking of which, I don't think we... Oh. Okay, so it's currently equipped with optimized interface with computer use +2. Its interface is streamlined for more efficient and thus more effective interaction with computer terminals. This looks very nice. A droid self-sustaining unit. Bonus feat, regenerate vitality points. By reprogramming its internal systems, this upgrade takes the droid's built-in diagnostic routines to the next step, self-repair. Through several closely guarded processes, the droid can actually sustain and repair itself regardless of availability of repair kits. So, if we give him that, then basically every round, which I think is about 6 seconds, I believe he'll regain some hit points. That'll help keep him... Oh, we can have both of these equipped, I guess. So those are the same slot. He just has 2. Okay. Shock arm and ion striker, we'll leave those. Deflector Mark 1. That's the only thing we have. Okay, and he currently has a mining laser. Blaster pistol is slightly better. It's 1 to 8 instead of 1 to 7. Okay, the most common ranged weapon in the galaxy is the basic blaster pistol, firing a bolt of intense coherent light powered by a replaceable power pack. Okay.
Just say the word.
No, not you. You. Okay, some adrenal alacrity.
Time to take you down to size.
Okay, Atten, I know you're aiming pretty carefully, but it's still kind of unsettling to have you standing almost right behind me, aiming at a enemy who's directly in front of me.
I hear you.
I'm still not entirely sure why these mining droids stand upright as opposed to the crawling ones. Because to get a robot to walk, it's a far less stable platform and requires a lot more work to walk on 2 legs, I should say, compared to walking on 4 or 6 legs. And for mining in particular, you'd think that it would be off balance a lot. So some components, med pack, credits, more credits, and chemicals. Okay. I mean, for something like a protocol droid, it makes a bit more sense to have it walk on 2 legs because it's interacting with beings that walk on 2 legs, and it's like talking with them and communicating, and you want people to be able to view it as another participant of the conversation, not a piece of machinery necessarily, I guess. And that helps when it actually looks a bit more like a person. But for mining, I don't see why that would be necessary. So Pragus emergency field station, emergency lockdown in effect. Let's shut down the emergency field to exit ramp. No custom charges detected. Okay. Okay, you are fighting. Okay. I didn't realize the guys were behind us, so when I didn't see the other 2 firing this way, I thought they were just letting me do all the fighting. Which I guess wouldn't be terribly unfair considering how often I let them do all the fighting. Okay, so I think we should be getting pretty close. Some credits. Yeah, okay, we'll take this up to the docking bay. And we've been through here as T3.
Let's settle this.
We have our guy focusing on doing unarmed attacks, and I think we even have like these gauntlets that are supposed to help with unarmed attacks, but it seems like we're doing a lot more kicking and leg sweeps and things rather than, you know, hitting with our hands, or indeed using our hands for really anything except balance. I don't know, I guess I'm definitely not a martial artist, not an expert in hand-to-hand combat, but it seems like either we should be using our hands more, or else we should be getting, like, boots that help us instead of gloves. Alright, force powers. Do we have any that we can upgrade? Oh, there we go. Upgrade stun droid to disable droid. Temporarily shuts down all droids within 5 meters of a target droid. Okay. How's that? Okay, so immobile for 12 seconds. Okay, I think this does pretty much the same thing, but it affects all droids within 5 meters, not just one target droids. Okay. That's a good upgrade. Now we'll probably leave Paragus and not encounter any more droids for most of the campaign.
This door's magnetically sealed. I can't believe this. The ship's right out there, and we can't get to it.
What? The console? Or whoa, slow down and repeat that. Or then go to the terminal and open it. Okay. I'm going to assume that you said something about the console.
Huh? What is that piece of junk saying?
He said he can open the door to the hangar. He just needs to access the hangar terminal up on the platform. Or the droid says he can open the hangar door by slicing the computer on the ramp above us. It's really the same thing. I guess it's just whether we're referring to T3 as he or as the droid, so we'll personify him a bit more.
How can you even understand that noise?
I served with a lot of utility droids in the, well, many years ago. Presumably don't want to talk about the war, or do we have some other secret to our past? Maybe we were also a Sith Lord at one point. That would be it wouldn't really be a twist in itself, because, you know, that was the twist of the last game, but it would be a twist for it to be the main twist 2 games in a row. So I'll explain someday when we're not being chased by 100 or more stealth Sith killers. Long story, not enough time. I mean, not that the stealth Sith killers really present too much of a threat, but yeah, we'll explain later.
Alright, well, if he can slice the door open from the terminal above, don't let me stop him.
Also, Etten, are you sure your breath mask is actually doing anything? Because it doesn't really seem flush over your nose and mouth, which means that it's probably not really filtering anything that goes in. Okay. Replace hangar control power conduit to open the door. There we go. I think we'd already checked all those last time, so... Okay, so that was... So it seems like between the power conduit and T3, HK's big master plan for keeping us here was just throw everything in the fuel line. Which I'm still kind of curious about how the ship was that we just came from was apparently getting refueled and fuel wasn't flowing through that line, or do they just call it a fuel line but actually, like, it's mostly a large conduit that there's like a fuel tube and maybe some data lines, and like there's a whole bunch of different things that are in there, including some walking space, but it's just primarily used for refueling, so that's what they call it, I guess.
Time to
Okay, Atten, I know you might be new to this whole thing, but I've seen it before, and I'll let you know. You're using a blaster. You don't need to run into melee with people. Like, I do because I'm using my feet. But also, I'm not sure those kicks really look like they're doing all that much, but I guess they're more effective than they seemed at first. Okay. Atten, how about T3 and I'll take care of this. You go get this chest over here.
Damn thing's stuck.
Oh.
Pure
Oh.
Bazak.
That's right. Okay, so we got chemicals and credits. So what happened there is normally this is kind of going off the same idea as Dungeons and Dragons and many other RPGs, that when you're attempting to do something, it's basically rolling a die behind the scenes, adding some numbers, comparing it to a result, and seeing if you accomplished it or not. Normally, if we're not in combat, doing stuff like unlocking a chest, or footlocker, or slicing a computer, or things like that, anything that you can do make repeated attempts at, the game will just kind of assume that, okay, eventually you would just try enough times that you succeed, so I'll just assume that you rolled a 20 and compare that, and then you either succeed or it's too high where it's impossible for you to succeed. Here, we actually failed and had to try again because our team was in combat. And when you're in combat, well, now you can't just try repeatedly because you never know, the enemy could kill your team or other things. So it actually did have to make a roll and check that against a result. So if you're wondering why, in case you're wondering why we actually had to try a couple times to unlock the footlocker. Okay. We take blaster bolt deflection, because it seems like we're already deflecting some blaster bolts. Which is kind of cool. So. Don't think I've ever actually played a Jedi who just fights hand to hand, so this actually seems like it'll be a kind of interesting ability. Or an interesting build. Okay, let's go ahead and level you guys up while we're here. Okay, so we've gained the following feat: Droid Upgrade Class 2. Okay, we can get some better upgrades if we come across them. Okay, nothing too much this level. Okay, and Atten gets Sneak Attack 4, so if he's sneak attacking, then he gets can do quite a bit of extra damage. Okay, so this is locked. There seems to be some kind of gas in this tunnel here, so let's see what that's all about. Okay, decontamination console, main console commands. Warning, decontamination system active. Okay, reroute the main console system, slice the system, or destroy the console. Okay, let's reroute the main console system. Okay, bypassing routine control functions. Let's access remote camera controls of the decontamination chamber. Okay. We can attempt to shut down the decontamination system, or we can open the door. Let's try to get a couple more computer spikes and then see if we can shut down the system. Or can T3 do this with his higher... Yeah, look, his much higher computer use skills, so let's see if that does it. Yeah, it's only going to cost 4 spikes now. Okay, that's an ability we need to use more often, is we can switch to different characters to be able to use their stats to do stuff when they would be better at something than we would. Okay, so now let's open the decontamination chamber. So I'm assuming it's doing something like, you know, basically spraying the area with bleach or something, which, I mean, not bleach, but some space bleach, which would help decontaminate it, but would also be very toxic to anybody trying to walk through. And presumably whatever it was decontaminating, either it's not a big deal, like maybe it was just part of HK's plan, activate the decontamination system just to keep people from using this when there's no contamination. Or if there was some contamination, then it's presumably low enough that, like, we're abandoning the station. Nobody's going to be here for the long term. It's more important to get through than it is to have the place decontaminated, I guess. Okay, med pack and repair kit. And another med pack and repair kit. And here's the Ebon Hawk. Is there any stuff we can loot around the edges? Were you trying to mine my ship? I mean, I guess technically we haven't really established if it's mine or what. I guess out of all of us, well, maybe T3 has a claim to it since he actually traveled on it in the last game as part of that crew. But I guess if we include her, then maybe Kreia has the best claim, because I mean she was on board it as well, even though everybody thought she was dead. So I guess we'll have to see if we can find out more of the story to figure out, like, okay, was she brought on board as a, you know, as like, oh, this person's hurt and we need to help them, or was she like in control of the ship and then went into her Jedi healing trance later? Okay, broadening chamber Mark 1 and sound dampening overlay Mark 1. So, okay, so we've got a couple upgrade items. So that's good. This is the loading ramp to the Ebon Hawk. Once aboard, you'll be leaving the mining facility for good. Okay. Well, I think that's kind of what we want to do, so let's enter the Ebon Hawk.
Quick! We're gonna need some time to fire up the engines. Let's give the laser turret a workout.
Where did these normal-looking Sith troopers come from? Oh, cool. There's stuff that can be destroyed. Hey! So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get on board the ship. And we're trying not to let them. But so I think the ones that, like that guy just got past us, I think he...
We've got company.
Yeah. The Sith have boarded the ship, prepared to repel the boarders. So the ones that got past us, we're going to have to fight them. 3 Sith assault troopers remain. Okay, I said to use that.
Everyone down!
Wow, you guys are really... I guess you actually lasted a little bit longer than the stealth troopers.
Alright, let's get out of here!
Okay. Kreia, your hand, what happened? Or how did you survive? A good thing you arrived now, or we would have left you. So, finding it odd, I just saw an achievement pop up, and I am fairly certain that achievement had absolutely nothing to do with what we were doing here, so it seems like that's a glitchy part of the game or something. But, oh well, free achievement. So, your hand, what happened? Or how did you survive? Let's show concern for her. What happened?
There is no time. We must leave.
Okay, let's see if hopefully the video will manage to work properly this time. Wait a second, don't these asteroids have a chance of exploding if they get hit?
If they hit us, we're dead. But if they keep missing us, we're dead.
Oh.
That's great odds.
Yeah.
Somebody shut that trash compactor up.
No, I think we should listen to them. Look, can you fly this thing or not? Isn't there anything you can do? Keep as much distance between them and us as you can. Can we jump to hyperspace? Or fire on the asteroids. Maybe the explosion will destroy them. Or just do your best to keep your distance. We'll get out of this yet. No, let's go with the stupid sounding, nigh suicidal plan. That's what we need to do in this situation. Fire on the asteroids.
That'll take out the whole field, the colony, and maybe us. We might not even be able to jump to hyperspace in time.
Then we die here. Choose now.
Okay, so that's one vote for die here. No, I don't think he said to die here. I'm sure he backed up my plan. Or, no, we don't have any choice. Do it. Or, no, someone might still be alive in the facility. There's got to be another way. Keep evading them until we clear the field, and we'll try to jump to hyperspace. I mean, I think we pretty much searched the entire facility and established there's really nobody left alive there, sadly. So let's go ahead and do it.
Hold on. This is gonna get a little rocky.
There we go.
Well, now that we just killed a planet, maybe one of you can tell me what's going on. Because between assassin droids, a Sith Lord that looks like he sleeps with vibroblades, and being target practice for a Republic warship, I was better off in my cell.
The Republic warship was the Harbinger. It was seized on its way to Telos by the Sith. They sought you, Jedi.
Okay. The Harbinger was on its way to Telos? Why are those Sith looking for me? How do we stop them? I've heard enough. None of this interests me. Yeah, there's a bunch of Sith after me. Bounty hunter droid tried to kidnap me. We blew up a planet. Boring. So the Harbinger was on its way to Telos. The one part that I should be aware of. Let's ask about that.
Yes, to aid in the recovery effort there. Many roads lead to Telos, including ours.
Not like we have much of a choice, the Paragus astrogation charts being what they are.
It is where we must go, and where the Harbinger was bound before our unfortunate encounter on Paragus.
How did you know I was on board the Harbinger? Or care to explain how you tracked me down? Looks like I didn't cover my tracks well. I've heard enough. None of this interests me. Was I deliberately trying to lay low or something? Yeah, how did you know I was on board the Harbinger?
You were difficult to find, but coincidence was on our side. When I learned that you were on the vessel, I knew the Sith would not be far behind. When we intercepted the Harbinger, it was crippled, drifting in space. It was a simple matter to board the vessel and rescue you. Unknown to me, however, the Sith were already on board. Just as we made the jump to hyperspace, they fired upon us, nearly destroying the Ebon Hawk.
Okay. So, I guessing the sequence of events, we were on board the Harbinger. The Harbinger encountered a Sith ship. When they investigated it, it seemed like all the Sith were gone except for the guy who was all cut up, whom they thought was heavily wounded and put into a healing tank. But what actually happened was it wasn't abandoned. There were just a bunch of invisible Sith who snuck on board the ship. Meanwhile, HK was doing his part to cripple the ship so that he was going to try to smuggle us off the ship so he could get a bounty on the Jedi. But then the Ebon Hawk showed up, docked with the ship after it had been crippled, got me off, and then the Sith were like, hey, no, that's our Jedi, and fired on the Ebon Hawk. I think that's okay. I think that should be a story up to where we started. Okay. How come I don't remember any of this? Well, that's an unusual set of coincidences. How did we get to Paragus? I've heard enough. None of this interests me. So, how did we get to Paragus? Why was the Ebon Hawk headed to Paragus? That is a good question.
I do not know how the Ebon Hawk was able to make it to Be silent. We're having a conversation here.
He says he repaired the ship and got us to Paragus. What part of silence didn't you hear? Or another beep out of you and you're scrap.
Repaired this ship, my eye. Next thing you know, it's going to claim credit for saving our skins. If that little noisemaker says it repaired the ship once, then it can prove it by doing it again. Go on, get!
Yeah, who ever heard of a robot being able to fix things? That would be way too weird for this universe. So how come I don't remember you rescuing me? Or coincidences, or why are these Sith looking for me? Or we got away from the Sith. Now, how do we stop them? Okay, so, it's good. We can either focus on like, okay, now that we're away from the Sith, time to do the hero thing. First, let's ask, why were we unconscious, I guess?
Whatever occurred on board the Harbinger had rendered you unconscious. Though your thoughts were faint, I was still able to find you, sealed in one of the cargo holds.
That's an unusual set of coincidences.
True. But as one trained in the Force, you know that true coincidences are rare.
Okay. So why are these Sith looking for me? Yeah.
Because you are the last of the Jedi. Once you are dead, then they have won.
Okay. I am not a Jedi, not any longer. but I was exiled from the Jedi Order. Or the next time someone calls me a Jedi, they'll be lying in a pool of their own blood. I've heard enough. None of this. Okay, apparently we were exiled. I don't... This is one of the things I'm not certain how much of this is set, like, is, actual, this is the story and you can't change it, and how much of this is, we might be able to make decisions. Because, of course, like when we were talking with Atten about what happened in the previous game, we were able to correct him on things and be like, no, see, Revan didn't lead the Sith, or I mean, he did lead the Sith at one point, but in the end, he helped defeat the Sith, and he's a hero of the Republic. Revan's a guy, not a girl, and stuff like that. So I don't know, like, if this decision is, like, is it no matter what, we're going to find out we were exiled from the Jedi Order and don't call ourselves a Jedi, or is this a choice that we're making that we can either keep it, hey, I'm not a Jedi because I turned my back on them, or I'm not a Jedi because they kicked me out. I guess we'll claim exile, and we'll see how, whether anything happens from there.
Exile or not, the Sith believe you to be a Jedi Knight, and that is all that matters.
Okay, maybe I need to angrily argue with them online, because that'll probably convince them that I'm right and they're wrong. But Last of the Jedi, that can't be true. What happened to the Jedi? The Jedi Order can't be gone. Yeah, it does seem odd that I would be the very last. There's got to be some others.
The Jedi Civil War destroyed the Jedi. By the war's end, barely 100 Jedi remained. Many fell in battle, and many more were seduced by Revan's teachings.
What about the Jedi on Dantooine and Coruscant? But those Jedi who survived, what happened to them? I mean, okay, I guess first let's ask about Dantooine and Coruscant. So, Dantooine being where we were last time, where we trained with the Jedi, and Coruscant being kind of the capital of the galaxy, and it's where the Jedi Council is in the prequel movies.
The Jedi Academy on Dantooine is nothing more than a crater that echoes with the ghosts of dead Jedi, and the Jedi Temple on Coruscant lies empty. The waters in the Room of 1,000 Fountains have fallen still, in reverence to the fallen Jedi, and those now lost. Many Jedi blamed the teachings of the Jedi Masters for Revan's fall, and the civil war that followed.
Okay, which I have to say, I can't entirely fault them for that. I should specify them being the people who blame the Jedi Masters, because as we saw last game, there are some imperfections with the Jedi Code, and the Jedi's strategy of it's bad to be ruled by your emotions, and so therefore the solution is to pretend that you have no emotions whatsoever, is maybe not the best approach. So if any survivors still live, we need to warn them, or then the Jedi are dead, gone, and good riddance. I've heard enough. None of this okay. Well, I don't think it's great that the Jedi are dead just because we disagree with them on some points. Yeah, if there's any survivors, we should try to track them down.
Perhaps, but they are Jedi no longer. If the Sith have not already slain them, then they will not help you, nor can you help them.
Okay, then how do we stop the Sith?
That is not an easy question to answer. This threat is greater than you know, and I do not believe it is a battle that can be fought.
If we don't stop them, they're going to keep coming. Or they're eager to fight us. I say we fight back. Or so what do you think we should do? I've heard enough. Okay. Yeah, Kreia, you seem to be trying to be all heavy and significant, and here's like what's going on here. So what wisdom do you have for us? Tell us what to do.
Look, enough with the we already.
We cannot hope to triumph against them alone. To stop them, you will need weapons, allies, and a teacher. In the end, I fear it may not be enough.
What do you mean? But we have no other choice. Any enemy can be fought and killed. I will not run from the Sith or anyone. I don't know. I can't promise that. If there's a cutscene where in the middle of me fighting an enemy and beating them, one of my companions runs in and kind of shoves me out of the way and takes over the fight, I will run because there's not really any other option to continue the game. But what do you mean? Explain.
You fought in the Mandalorian Wars, and it cost you everything. Are you willing to sacrifice as much again?
The Mandalorian Wars were my choice. If these Sith threaten me, then they will die. This is self-defense, not war. We must stop them. There's no other option. Is there someplace we could hide or run to? No, we're totally gonna fight this out. So yeah, I guess it was probably our choice to enter the Mandalorian Wars, especially since, as I recall, the Mandalorians started attacking because they were trying to goad the Republic into a war, because the Mandalorians are all about battle and honor and blah blah blah. So the Jedi were all like, oh no, we shouldn't get involved, and then Revan and Malik were all like, no, we totally should. Everybody wants to go follow me, and that's how Revan won his acclaim. So given that, I'm pretty sure the Mandalorian Wars, not that the entire wars were his choice, but his decision to get involved, that's our choice because like we were probably explicitly told not to go and just disobeyed orders. So yeah, that was totally my choice.
You are not listening to me. This is not like any field of battle you have ever fought in. Think carefully on your choice. If you choose to fight, if you choose war, it is a path few turn from once the first steps are taken. It carries with it a terrible price. And in the end, you may find you have nothing left to sacrifice.
Okay, so what's your solution, Kreia? I paid money for this game, and you just want me to sit in a cave somewhere doing nothing for the entire playtime? That does not sound very fun. Thank you very much. Okay, so I have nothing to lose now. How bad can it be? I mean, if what Kreia said is true and we lost everything in the Mandalorian Wars, then I guess that actually does kind of make sense. If we lost everything in the Mandalorian Wars, lost the remainder of the Jedi Order by getting kicked out and then having it be destroyed in the Civil War, and we've just been kind of doing our thing, trying to lay low anyway. Seriously, what do we have to lose? Or, I turned away from war once. I can do it again. Did we really turn away from war, though, if we're still going back to that as a solution? Or if I do not try, then we have lost anyway. A Jedi's life is sacrifice. It is a small price to pay. Interesting. I wonder if that would still be an option if we had been more forceful earlier about not wanting to be called a Jedi anymore. That would be a bit of a about face if we said anybody calls me a Jedi, they'll be lying in a pool of their own blood, to suddenly, Jedi's life is sacrifice. If evil is not fought, then we sacrifice the galaxy. Only the Sith will pay the price for crossing me. Okay. So again, we can kind of start seeing, just like last game, we do have like light side and dark side options. I'm assuming only the Sith will pay the price for crossing me. That sounds like a bit of a dark side option, kind of a, I don't care about the galaxy, I care about myself and exerting my power and making sure nobody looks at me. But I think this sounds a good one. If evil is not fought, then we sacrifice the galaxy.
Your fool's words echo of a Jedi. You have much to learn, but we have spoken long enough, and my wound pains me. If you have other questions, find me in the crew quarters. There we will speak more.
Hey, don't stop your long, boring rants on my account. I was just getting sleepy-eyed.
Also in private, we will be mercifully free from the opinions of imbeciles and fools.
Look, not like I care or anything, but you might want to go check on our passenger, especially with that hand of hers.
You mean the lack of hand of hers. But she seemed well enough for someone who just lost her hand. I'm sure she could take care of herself. Or you're right, she may need help. Can you handle things up here? I'll go check on her then. Yeah, I mean, honestly, for someone who had a hand cut off, she did seem like she was holding up pretty good. I'm guessing it probably helps that it was cut off by a lightsaber, so I'm assuming that a lightsaber would probably cauterize it somewhat and keep it from getting as bloody as it might be otherwise. So painful, and it probably still needs a bit of medical treatment, but probably not in danger of bleeding out immediately, I guess. So yeah, seemed pretty good for that.
I think she was barely keeping it together. I'm surprised she's able to stand with all that pain rolling off of her.
What are you talking about? She didn't seem in pain to me. You're right, she may be in pain. I'll see if I can go help. Pain rolling off of her. What do you mean by that, Atten?
Are you blind? If I were her, I'd be screaming like a stuck Minoc. Well, I mean a very strong, manly Minoc.
Oh, of course.
I think she's just too proud to show any weakness. Especially in front of you.
That's odd. That's a poor assumption to be making. You're right, she may be in pain. I'll see if I can go help. Okay. If it'll shut you up, then I'll go check on her. Yeah, I guess if you're going to keep on chiding me about it, I'll go check on her. Okay. Some experience points, journal, and light side points. Okay, we are doing wisdom. I guess probably don't even need to worry about charisma. Wisdom is our most important stat, I think. Any other... Okay, we can't upgrade any others that we already have, so we definitely want to get healing. That's an important one to get. Alright, since we're here, let's see if Atten wants to talk about it. Why are you still holding the advanced mining laser while you're flying the ship? This place is like, well, I guess we don't have lots of containers here, but just look at the size of the cockpit here. There's so much space. You could just set that on the floor somewhere, out of the way, and not be bashing it against the console.
Look, not like I care or anything. But
Oh, okay.
you might want...
Okay, just gonna keep on saying the same thing. Okay, I'll go check on her. Alright, I was gonna see if he had anything else to say, but I guess... So, let's just see. We have... Security system. Oh, check out the cameras. Cargo hold. Okay. Cockpit. Just looks silly. I think they're trying to have him do like a typing maneuver, but when he's holding that thing in his hand, it just looks like he's just beating the console with the gun there. It's ridiculous. Okay, so that's where we are. Communications room, engine room. Okay, T3's working on stuff back there. Okay, the exit ramp. Garage. Oh, okay, you can see all the scaffolding there from... Because, of course, remember when we first started out, that part of the ship was all ripped open from the attack. And we were told that somebody had programmed the droids to to fix the ship, but I guess they were able to enclose it, but not fully finish fixing it. Medical bay. You think that's where Kreia should be if she lost her hand? There's probably like painkillers and all sorts of automated help there. Okay, the port dormitory. Assuming that's Kreia. Maybe he's listening to the radio and tapping out the tempo. That could be. He's doing a little... He doesn't want to just pretend that he's drumming on the console. He wanted to actually use the gun and, I guess, hope that hitting it on stuff doesn't cause it to go off and shoot a hole in the screen there. Uh-oh, looks like we've got another droid in, where's this? Storage compartment. Looks like a droid that's leaning over a bit. That's a little concerning. Oh, T3's here now. Did your voice get a lot lower? Could you please stop moving around the ship? It's hard to find you. Okay, no, it's okay. You're supposed to be fixing stuff up. Unlike Atten, I realize that, a droid whose primary purpose is repairing stuff is capable of repairing stuff. You look like you've suffered a lot of damage over the years. Can you upgrade an item for me? Or I need a programming spike. Hey, you look like you've suffered a lot of damage. Do you have any stories to tell? Oh, how much damage? So you lost a lot of programs in your behavior core in addition to the damage to your frame? Oh, I think we've heard this one before. Well, I'm sure you'll gain that skill back. I'm glad to have you along. Pray you don't lose any more of your functionality, or I'll sell you for parts. No, I think you've done pretty well so far, T3. You are a valuable member of the crew. Computer, I might be able to upgrade your memory core. Or repair. You look like you're in need of some routine maintenance. I think our repair is higher than computers. Maybe they're both really low. Let's try it. Influence failure. Okay. What do you mean credentials? I know what I'm doing. Fine, go ahead and let corrosion take its course. Or I might be able to upgrade your memory core. So the influence means basically it wasn't that we didn't have high enough repair or high enough computer, it's that he doesn't know us well enough. So sometimes we'll actually get to see, this will be helpful when we actually see that, okay, we don't have enough influence with the companion, so we know, okay, if we get to know T3 better, then we can come try talking to him again about repairing him. So how about computer? We'll get the same thing? Yep, okay. I'll be careful. Trust me, you won't feel a thing. Or you'll regret it when you can't perform any basic calculation. No. Yeah, I guess we just met. You don't want some mostly stranger just poking around in your memory core, or so. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? Okay, no. I guess we grab a few programming spikes. I'll put this to good use. Yeah, for now, there was something else I needed. Can you make any more? Can you make any more? Okay. So is this actually doing more? Okay, so now we're getting to he's made enough. So all right, well maybe later then. And I had something else I need. Or never mind, I'll be going now. I think that pretty much exhausted it. So all right, received a lot of computer spikes, and we gained some influence with them. Good. So it'll be good for with T3 to try to make sure we always get some computer spikes before before like leaving onto a planet or something. So we'll hopefully get a lot of those. Hey, here we go. It's a damaged HK unit, and this looks like it might be the proper color to be HK47. Granted, with the droid, that's a little bit hard to tell because it actually wouldn't be that hard to just paint over a droid. But this looks like the remains of an HK unit, but older and more corroded than the one you encountered on Paragus. Its power core still carries a charge, but a number of critical parts appear to be missing. Okay. Okay, so can we diagnose the droid? It looks as if this droid is missing 4 critical components. Its droid processor, a replacement droid chassis, the control cluster that's supposed to be stored in the chassis, and its vocabulator. Okay, well, we can take the vocabulator and insert it into the core. Okay, so I guess we picked up a vocabulator from one of the... Step away. I wanna see if this vocabulator first. We have a bonus mission to rebuild HK-47. Alright, the damaged HK unit on the Ebon Hawk requires a droid processor, a droid chassis, a control cluster, and a vocabulator. If you bring them to the droid and install them, that should make it operational again. Okay. Maybe this sonic imprint sensor is the vocabulator that we're talking about? Oh no, here's HK vocabulator. This device looks like an HK vocabulator unit that allows the droid to speak and communicate with others. So I'm guessing we picked that up from the HK droid, HK50 droid when we destroyed it. Okay, well let's give it to HK47 now. Let's take the vocabulator and insert it in the core. You have installed the droid's vocabulator. Good. Okay, so we're going to have to figure out how to get more parts for him. There we go. Hello, Kreia.
Have you come for more answers? There is little more left to give.
Okay. When you lost your hand, I felt it too. Or your hand, is there anything I can do? If you refer to your hand, the choice was yours. Okay, yeah, I actually felt that too. That's probably important information you should know.
That does not surprise me, any more than you hearing my thoughts when we were apart. The pain, however, was unexpected. If I could, I would have shielded you from it.
Okay. If I could, I would have protected you. I'm sorry for your loss. Then consider the pain a lesson. If I felt the loss of your hand, what would have happened if you had died? So that would be a good question to ask, but first let's research. Like, yeah, if we could have helped you out there, we totally would have. Didn't mean to just. Well, we did mean to leave you back there because you said that you had it, but we didn't intend for you to like be taking all the danger on yourself.
Save your pity. I am here to save you, not the other way around.
Okay, you have one hand, I have 2 hands, so seriously, who should be pitying whom here? It looks to me like you're the one who needs help. Yeah. Seems to me you need to learn to listen. Or if we travel together, then we need to work together. Well, I think Kreia seems like she's not... She wants to be the one in charge, so I think trying to just give little niceties that she
I do
already
not
know?
know.
Oh.
I fear that the consequences would have been more extreme.
Accidentally hit that. But okay, so if she had died, the consequences would have been more extreme. So more extreme. I felt like my hand was dipped in molten carbonite. Or like what consequences? Death? Would it have been lethal? Yeah. Let's just get directly there. Would it have been lethal?
Possibly, yes, and I fear it works both ways. I would not wish to test it, nor should you.
What can we do? I don't want my actions to place you at risk. Or then we'll work together and try to be careful until we can fix this. This link is a threat to me and an inconvenience. We need to sever it now. But at your age, you could die any moment, especially considering the way you act. Yeah. What if you die of old age? Am I just going to drop down dead as well? I will not allow my life to be tied to some half-dead, delusional old woman. Let's see. Let's get a little snarky with her. Your age, you could die any moment, so especially if you keep acting so rashly. So that is a major concern.
If you think a connection to one such as yourself gives me any comfort, then you would be wrong. I desire this no more than you do. It seems that at times of stress and pain, if they catch us unawares, then the pain is transmitted between us.
How could this bond have happened? Does this connection have any advantages? I've never heard of a link like this before in holocrons or in the Jedi histories. Well, it's interesting. We don't have a bond exactly like this, but in the last game we had that bond with Bastila as well. It didn't seem to be like we're feeling what she's feeling and vice versa, but it did feel we did like experience visions and see connections. So from a story perspective, it's interesting that in both cases we have, hey, we're tied or linked to another one of the characters. So yeah, how could this have happened?
I confess its nature eludes me as well, but the bond is strong, and its roots run deep. It seems the Force flows easily between us. When one of us manipulates the Force to heal or strengthen ourselves, the other is aided as well.
Oh, that's nice. You and Kreia possess the Force Chain special ability. When either of you uses a Force power on yourself, the other gains the benefit as well. That might be why we suddenly found ourselves getting the Jedi super speed, if Kreia was using that on herself and we were linked to her. Okay.
A powerful technique indeed, though, as we have noticed, it has its drawbacks.
So what do we do now? I need to know more about the Sith hunting us. Or when we were on Pragus, I could feel the Force again. Can you tell me what has happened since the Mandalorian Wars? Okay. Yeah, what's been happening since the Mandalorian Wars? What's your take on it?
Much has happened in the galaxy in your absence, and since the defeat of the Mandalorians at Malachor 5.
Okay. Tell me about the Mandalorian Wars.
It is a tale you already know well. Almost a decade ago, the Mandalorians began preying on the Republic, bringing the fires of war to many planets along the Outer Rim. Their predations continued, winning victory after victory, until the Republic finally begged the Jedi Council for aid.
Well, that's okay. But the Jedi Council didn't help. Only a few of the Jedi Knights did. Or the Jedi Council agreed, but did not move fast enough, so we had to. But only some of the Jedi Knights answered the call, like I did. So it sounds like, okay, our choices are we can either say, yeah, the Jedi totally didn't help. It was the Jedi Knights who did it. The Jedi Council didn't do anything. Or we could say, yeah, the Jedi Council, they were on board, but they were moving too slow, so we had to take it into our own hands to do it. Or only some Jedi Knights answered the call, like I did, so... I guess that would almost be putting it as if, like, the Jedi Council agreed, but a lot of the Jedi themselves chose not to answer the call. So it seems like that's almost putting the blame on the Jedi Knights instead of the Council. I'm not sure we want to blame anybody. So the Jedi Council agreed, but did not move fast enough. So we had to.
Indeed. The Jedi Council counseled caution and patience to assess the Mandalorian threat as the Outer Rim burned.
Okay. And Revan and Malak refused to wait. Yeah.
Two Jedi Knights, Revan and Malak, defied the Jedi Council. They challenged the Mandalorian fierceness and brutality on the battlefield with a viciousness of their own. Revan's entrance into the conflict marked the true beginning and end of the war. It was Revan who drove the Mandalorians back into the unknown regions.
Okay. Until we destroyed them at Malachor 5. The Mandalorians fought savagely to the end. Even in that final battle, we almost lost the war. Okay, so we either had a total victory, fought tooth and nail to to kind of a balanced ending, or we just, I guess, miraculously won after nearly losing it. So, well, I guess the Mandalorians, it makes sense, would keep on fighting to the end, so I'll go with that.
Yet Revan triumphed. But you know this, for you were there at Malachor 5, when the Mandalorians were crushed beneath Revan's might.
Many Jedi died at Malachor 5, and the conflict split the Jedi Order. Malachor 5 is in the past. Let it stay there, forgotten. I asked you what you know, not what I know. I guess that might be why we're kicked out of the Order. If we went to fight at the I wonder if that's where they're going. If we went to fight in the Mandalorian Wars, after coming back, because it sounds like we were kicked out of the Order before Revan and Malak came back with the Sith fleet. So maybe the Jedi who didn't continue following Revan and Malak but came back to the Council, maybe they were like punished for leaving without Council's permission or something. Yeah, the conflict split the Jedi Order.
You speak the truth. The war's end was merely another beginning, and what seemed a victory for the Republic was far from it. Many believed the Mandalorians defeated at Malachor 5, but the Mandalorians taught the Jedi much through battle, and so it was that Malak, Revan, and the Jedi that followed them discovered their true natures in the Mandalorian Crusade. But you know this.
So I guess they're adding the "you know this" to remind us that, yeah, this is totally what you sharing knowledge, not us giving it to you. I felt them fall. The war had consumed them. But some battles must be fought. It was not Revan's failing. And if I could, I would have followed them. No, they totally fell to the dark side when they went off. That part I can't really be on board with.
Consumed them? No. Taught them. Defined them? Yes. As Revan and Malak fought the Mandalorians in battle after battle, they grew to despise weakness, just as the Mandalorians did. In the end, the Mandalorians had taught them through conflict, shaped the Jedi, and turned them into a weapon against the Republic.
So that's kind of an interesting take on why Revan and Malak, these heroic Jedi, the heroes of the Republic, had fallen so quickly is not just like, oh, we're totally going to be selfish and evil now, but in the course of fighting the Mandalorians, seeing the Mandalorians, treating both allies and enemies with respect if they're strong and with disdain if they're weak, and in the course of fighting, seeing that hey, we need strength to beat the Mandalorians. Weakness isn't really going to do us any good. I guess that kind of makes a certain amount of sense that they would start thinking that way, and then it's not necessarily that caused them to fall, but it would certainly help them in their fall to start thinking that, hey, against threats like the Mandalorians, we need to do anything we can to have the means to defeat them. What really matters is the power to defeat them, so that they don't overrun everything, and start looking for the power, and then that probably ultimately it led them to the Star Forge and started that whole mess. So, okay. Turn them into a weapon against the Republic. And that was the Jedi Civil War. Or what happened next? Didn't the Jedi Order try to stop them? Yeah, as I recall, the Jedi Order tried to stop them by, brainwashing Revan into thinking that he was some smuggler, and then training him to be a Jedi all over again.
Revan and Malak, and all the Jedi that served them, turned against the Republic and the Jedi Order. Jedi fought Jedi. Revan was ambushed by the Jedi and captured. Malak continued to wage war in his master's place, inflicting terrible wounds on the Republic. Wounds that bleed still.
How were Malak and the Sith defeated? What happened to Malak? The Republic is weak. They couldn't have beaten Malak. There were other questions. Yeah. So why do I get the feeling we're going to ask how Malak and the Sith were defeated, and then we're going to end up telling the answer instead of receiving the answer?
As all Sith do without a strong enemy, the Sith turned on each other. Revan escaped the Jedi and returned to finish Malak, and that was the end of the Jedi Civil War.
Oh, okay. So, but what happened to Revan? Or does Revan still live? Did the Jedi recapture Revan? Yeah, what happened to Revan? That's something we've been giving a bit of information about, like, hey, here's what Revan did, and here's Revan's role in the war. But what happened to him afterwards? That's kind of what I'm kind of curious about.
After defeating Malak, Revan left the Republic, and there are none who know where he has gone. It is said that the Sith remnants turned on themselves after Revan defeated Malak, reducing Korriban to ruin as the Republic still bleeds and struggles for life. Where Revan wanders now, I do not know.
So Revan saved the Republic? Are you saying Revan abandoned the war? Revan turned against Malak for the sake of the Republic? Okay, there are other questions. Yeah, Revan saved the Republic, totally.
It would seem that way from a certain point of view, perhaps. The Jedi Civil War left wounds that have yet to heal. We shall see if the Republic has the strength to survive.
Then we must do what we can until it has a chance to recover from the war. Or if the Republic is weak, it doesn't deserve to win. Or didn't deserve to win. Malak and Revan should have crushed the Republic. Now, Malak and Revan at his darkest may feel that way, but no, if it's weak, then we need to give it a chance to recover.
A culture's teachings, and most importantly the nature of its people, achieve definition in conflict. They find themselves or find themselves lacking. Too long did the Republic remain unchallenged. It is a stagnant beast that labors for breath and has for centuries. The Jedi Order was the heart that sustained its sickness. Now the Jedi are lost. We shall see how long the Republic can survive.
That that strikes me as significant because it reminds me of where was that in the last game? I think it was when we were talking with one of the instructors on Korriban. They gave the example of, like, hey, you're leading a city or a planet or something, and what do you do if you're living in a time of peace? And as I recall, like, the correct answer that was being looked for was you'd want to try to manufacture threats or something, because if your society remains stagnant, then you get weak. And I find that significant because it kind of means that what Kreia is saying here is sounding an awful lot like what the Sith teach. Now, I don't know that means that Kreia is a Sith, and we've certainly seen that if she is, she's not a, like, just... We've seen she has some darkness from some of her abilities, but she's also not just a kill everything. She seems to be wanting to help us, for some reason, and does seem to have some good characteristics, but it does seem to add a little bit more to that darkness bit. Or is she kind of like Jolie, that Jolie, remember last time, was a Jedi who had kind of been kicked out of the Order because of, as I recall, wasn't it because he fell in love and wanted to get married to this girl, and the council was all like, no, emotions are forbidden, and kicked him out. And so he was like, yeah, I still, we kind of called him back to being a Jedi, but he's still like, yeah, there's some stuff the Jedi say that I disagree with, and so maybe Kreia is more of like a dark side version of that she's like, yeah, there's some stuff with the Sith I agree with, but then there's other stuff that is totally not, totally don't agree with. And so I don't know, it'll be interesting to kind of see more about Kreia's views as we go on. So, can anything be done to help the Republic? The Republic has avoided its fate too long. Let them burn. Perhaps it is better the Republic stands on its own. Okay, so I guess the idea here being that the Jedi, by protecting the Republic and fighting their wars for them, thought they were doing good, but they were actually encouraging the Republic to be weak and rely on the Jedi. And so this idea being, maybe it's better that without the Jedi here, the Republic can, learn to stand up on its own and can survive. I don't know. I don't know that that's really my view on the matter. So, Kreia, I'm beginning to grow more and more suspicious of your advice, but can anything be done to help the Republic?
We shall see. The Jedi Civil War cost the Republic much. The resources of the Sith seemed limitless. The Republic's was not. Fleets of warships, soldiers, and people were lost. Entire planets were decimated. Their inhabitants dead or refugees. It is a great burden for any civilization to bear. And this new threat, it is a quiet thing. Unlike the Jedi Civil War, it drives at something deeper than the strength of the Republic. It is aimed at you.
This threat is directed against me? What do you mean? Because I'm the last Jedi? Yeah, why? It sounds like you're talking about a pretty significant threat, possibly to the entire Republic. But why is it aimed at me?
The Republic was never what was important, ever. It was but a shell that surrounds the Jedi, just as the teachings of the Jedi are a shell surrounding the heart of man. You see, the war, the true war, has never been one waged by droids or warships or soldiers. They are but crude matter, obstacles against which we test ourselves. The true war is waged in the hearts of all living things, against our own natures, light or dark. That is what shapes and binds this galaxy, not these creations of man. You are the battleground, and if you fall, the death of the Republic will be such a quiet thing, a whisper, that shall herald the darkness to come.
Okay. That's interesting. So we're setting the tone that we're going to get into more philosophy in this game. I'm all for that. Let's see, there's some other questions.
Ask, and I will answer.
Okay, so what do we do now? I need to know more about the Sith hunting us. When we were on progress, I could feel the Force again. Yes, what do we do now? Let's start there.
I do not know. The Sith struck more swiftly than I thought, and they will not stop until they have you in their grasp. If you fall, all the galaxy will echo it.
But there must be some place we can go. Is there any place we can retreat to? We can't keep running until they catch us. They're rather quick. Okay, yeah, is there some place we can go? Like, not that we need to like go hide forever or anything, but just like, where should we be planning to go? Do we have a destination that, like, if we get here, maybe it won't fix everything, but that's step one. Let's start there. Where can we go?
It does not matter where we go. It is not the destination that matters. It is the journey.
Not
All
helpful.
paths will take us to the end, whatever it may be, and no matter how strongly we fight against it. For now, we are bound for Telos, and that is enough.
Okay, so Telos is our first step. Yeah, I get that, you know, I guess there's a bit of fate here that, okay, all paths will take us to the end, whatever it may be. But I guess as you're saying it's the journey that matters, not the end, but that's also why we should have a plan so that we can affect that journey. I'm not saying we need to have like the complete end goal in mind, but we should know at least where we're headed, and we can choose how we're setting off on that journey. Okay. So where are we bound? Is that seriously? She says we're bound for Telos, and like, is that going to be asking more about Telos, or is that just like, hey, can you repeat the name you just said? So, okay, or enough for what? Yeah, we're bound for Telos, and that is enough. Enough for what?
Before the war, Jedi who failed their training were sent to the fields of Telos to serve the galaxy, not as Jedi Knights, but as farmers and laborers. The destruction of Telos was complete. I doubt any Jedi remain. Yet there may be echoes of their passing. We shall see.
And if we find no trace of Jedi teachings on Telos to help us? Well, that plan seems weak. We don't have the time to scour an entire planet for Jedi relics. There is always time to scour an entire planet for Jedi relics. If there's not, then we will make time for it, and those Sith can just sit by and wait patiently. So, yeah. So what happens if we find no trace of Jedi teachings, though?
Then I am left with nothing more than we had already. My faith in you and your ability to meet what comes.
Okay, let's ask other questions.
Ask, and I will answer.
I need to know more about the Sith hunting us. I also want to know if by the Sith hunting us, if we're talking collectively as a group, or if we're just talking singular about the one really scarred guy, because I feel like Sith is, like, it's one of those words that, like, the Sith, it could be either singular or plural.
These Sith, they seek the death of all Jedi,
Okay,
as
well,
have all
plural.
the Sith, since the Jedi Order was first split.
First split? There was another Jedi Civil War? Did they seriously not teach about how the Sith split off from the Jedi in Jedi school? The Sith were once Jedi. I feel like all of these are things that should be, even if they didn't teach us that, I feel like these should be very obvious. Um, this first split sounds the least ridiculous, because maybe we're just showing confusion of, okay, what split exactly are you talking about? But
Yes, the Jedi Civil War is not the first one of its kind. Thousands of years ago, the Jedi had another civil war that split the Order. It was a terrible thing. A faction among the Jedi abandoned the teachings of the Order, following their own path. They waged war on their fellow Jedi, a war that raged across the galaxy. But these fallen Jedi were cast out, defeated, and they retreated to worlds in the Outer Rim. Over time, they took on the mantle of the Lords of the Sith, but in their hearts they never forgot the Jedi. The hatred for the Jedi Order burns in their veins like fire and echoes in their teachings. Revan tasted it, as Malak did.
now, what I find particularly interesting here is the hatred for the Jedi Order burns in their veins like fire and echoes in their teachings. When we were looking in the first game with the Jedi, the Jedi Code and the Sith Code, we saw similarities there. We saw similarities. We saw some similarities in the structure and also differences in the structure, or not just differences, but actually opposites of how, the Sith. The Sith Code is all like a series of a sequence of events. Was it the peace is a lie? There is only peace is a lie. There is only passion, and through passion I gain power, and through power I gain strength. I might be butchering it, but we have this progression. Each one is through this thing that we just gained before, I gain the next thing, and that all leads to an end goal. As opposed to the Jedi is more like, there is no, there is no passion, there is peace or something. There is no death, there is the Force, and so we saw that they were structured different, but they have kind of these echoes of each other. So with this, their hatred for the Jedi Order echoes in their teachings. Makes me think the Sith Code might have been deliberately kind of based on the Jedi Code in a weird, kind of twisted sort of way. So, it's interesting. So these Sith continue the crusade? But these Sith seem different. Are they following Malak's path? Okay. Yeah, what's different about these Sith?
In a manner of speaking, they are different from Malak in that they are concerned only with the destruction of the Jedi. For them, it is all that matters, all that ever mattered. It is a different war these Sith wage, a thing of silence and shadow. They strike from the darkness, hiding from the face of the galaxy until all Jedi are exterminated. After all the Jedi are gone, then the galaxy is theirs, no matter whether the Sith or the Republic rules. It is the dark side that shall reign, unchecked.
Okay, so you're saying it's different that Malak and Revan, during his darker phase, they drew on the dark side of the Force as like a tool to try to conquer the galaxy. It's basically kind of to fuel themselves and their armies to try to do a military conquest of the galaxy. What these Sith are doing is their focus is on just tracking down and killing the Jedi, and then they don't need to conquer the galaxy militarily. They'll be able to, I guess, conquer it philosophically, or maybe politically or something. But it it sounds like basically without the Jedi there, the Jedi and their teachings to, I guess, nurture the light side, it'll just be the Sith's dark side that affects and influences people, even if people don't recognize, like even if the Sith aren't in positions of government or uh, brutal tyrants or anything, their philosophy will rule the galaxy essentially, um, because the Jedi won't be there to correct it. Okay, it's interesting. So I've never seen Sith assassins like those on the Harbinger. I mean, seriously, all the Sith assassins I've seen before have been competent, and nothing like the ones we saw. If those Sith assassins are the best the Sith have to offer, we have little to fear. Well, I can't argue there. The Sith on Paragus knew some Force techniques, but they were extremely weak. There were other questions. Yeah, seriously, tell me about these Sith assassins. They were kind of a joke.
I believe them to be the result of special teachings. Their apparent weakness against you is evidence of this. Those Sith assassins can sense their prey through the Force. It is like a hunger. They feed and grow stronger when they are near Force sensitives. The stronger their prey is in the Force, the deadlier they become. As long as you were cut off from it, you were able to evade their sight. But after Paragus, I fear that you will be no longer shielded from their eyes, or the eyes of their masters. The stronger you grow, the more will come.
Okay, so narratively, tying into their strength is kind of tied into our ability to sense the Force, which is also conveniently means that as we level up, they become stronger. So we have a gameplay. It's basically a story explanation of a gameplay mechanic, it sounds like. Okay, let's ask some more.
Ask, and I will answer.
When we were on Pragus, I could feel the Force again.
Indeed. And was it the same as before?
No, it felt different. Faint. It was like a whisper at the edge of your... Did we already have this conversation with her while we were on Paragus? Is this a chance to just have the conversation again if we missed it that time? It was like a whisper at the edge of hearing. Let's describe it like that.
If my suspicions are correct, perhaps the damage the Jedi Council did was not as permanent as they thought. It is not an easy thing to cut one off from the Force.
I mean, just ask Revan. Well, can't do that because nobody knows where he is. But if you did know where he was, you could ask him. Wait, the Jedi did this to me? If they were responsible, they had no right. I don't believe the Jedi would do such a thing. Yeah, what is this that they did to me?
What did you believe? That you suddenly lost your connection with the Force without reason?
Would it be bad if I said yes? It's not possible to cut someone off from the Force. It's like deafening someone or blinding them, which are both impossible to do. But to cut one off from the Force, it's like losing all your senses at once. Yeah, let's go with that one. I'm not sure how arguing that it's like deafening someone or blinding them relates to it not being possible. That's...
Indeed it is. It is much like losing one's ability to listen or being put into a deep sleep, unable to awaken to the galaxy around you. Such a thing has been done before, when Jedi have pronounced sentence on their own and exiled them as they did you.
I don't believe the Jedi would inflict such a punishment on someone. It seems too cruel. Or then there must be a way to reverse what they did. Or if the Jedi were not already gone and dead, I would end their lives for doing this to me. There were other questions I wish to ask you. Let's not focus on the Jedi's actions. Let's just focus on trying to solve the matter at hand. There's got to be a way to reverse it.
It is possible that such a thing can be undone. Still, even so, the chances of the Jedi undoing such a thing for a traitor is a slim thing at best, assuming they yet live.
But you said it's possible. How? Slim is better than none. But the Force, I can feel it again, if only slightly. Yeah, I mean, I can feel it again, so I mean, something must be getting undone.
Our link may have had other consequences. Perhaps you can hear the Force again, distantly, through me. If so, then there is hope. I may be able to teach you, train you to feel the Force again, and if you will not allow me to help you, then other Jedi must train you, or undo the damage they have done.
Okay, but there are no more Jedi. That's kind of the point. Excuse me. Or, I will honor whatever training you wish to give me. Yeah, not making that promise with you. I will listen to what you have to say, and I will show you respect, and I will take on, if you seem to be giving good training. But I'm not promising that I'm just going to do whatever you say, given what we've heard so far. No offense, Kreia, but you train me? You can barely stand. I am my own master. I have no need of teachers. Okay, let's go with no more Jedi.
Then I am your only hope, as you are mine. We are a sad pair, you and I, to defend the galaxy against such a thing. I offer to train you to become strong again, to know the ways of the Force, and to hear the Force sing within you as it once did.
Is that why I sometimes get songs stuck in my head? That is not an explanation I was expecting to see in a Star Wars game tonight, but I guess there it is. I would welcome whatever aid you offer. I accept you as a teacher, for now. If your training brings me power, then I will listen. I have no use for mentors, but a servant, yes. A long-winded scowl on my thoughts is enough. Leave me be. Now, I'll accept you as a teacher for now. Again, I make no promises that I'm just going to blindly do your bidding, but I'll listen to your wisdom.
Then our training shall begin. Whenever I travel with you, I shall impart what I can to you through my words and presence.
Okay. Let's see, is there any other questions?
Ask, and I will answer.
Okay, Sith, Pragus. Yeah, I think I've heard enough.
I would see to that fool in the cockpit and remind him of our destination. I would not want him attempting to veer from Telos.
Okay. The fool has a name. I'd like you to start using it. Or he's not a fool, but he does feel odd to me. That isn't so bad, just... well, maybe he is. I'll crack his skull into the bulkhead if he tries. Or will do. I'll go see him now. And that isn't so bad. He's just, exactly like he seems.
He is a fool and an imbecile. His potential lies downwards, not up. Watch that one. His thoughts are slippery. I do not trust him, and nor should you. Such a man serves himself first, and his allies next.
Okay. So we did get some dark side points. I think that's from when... What was it before? When we were saying, oh, Kreia, you're liable to just drop dead any moment. We were meaning that as kind of a joke, but I guess that was meant to be more of like a cruel thing to say. So that is another thing when we're looking at these is it can be kind of hard to tell what exactly is the tone of the selection. So we got some dark side points, but we also got some light side points for the net light side shift, and we lost some influence with Kreia. She wasn't too terribly impressed with us. Okay, that's fine. I think your little pseudo Sith speech kind of lost you some influence with me as well. So I couldn't help but notice during a lot of the cutscenes, like, what is with these beds? Like, we have pillow and blankets, and so we have, you can lift this up, get a little bit of elevation or something. But then, what are these big electric panels at the foot of the bed, and why would I not be worried that I'm going to accidentally, like, kick these in my sleep or something. Like, if it were at the head of the bed, I could actually understand, like, okay, do something, work on it while you're in bed, and then go to sleep, or maybe like play some soft music or something. But it seems odd to put these computers at the foot of the bed, or this computer panels. It's also, I guess, probably not a good idea, really, to be having all these bright LEDs in the room while you're trying to sleep. It should probably be dimmed a little bit. Still drumming on the console with your gun. Okay, Atten.
How's our passenger? She's still aging?
Yeah, cryptic as always. For someone without much to say, she sure says a lot. Or she seems fine, just needs some rest. Yeah, for someone without much to say, she sure says a lot.
Yeah, to you, maybe. I don't usually hear much beyond fool and imbecile. She's lucky she's a Jedi, or someone would have killed her years ago. I mean, how old do you think she is? She may have been good-looking once, but it takes some hard living to make creases like that.
Okay, I've heard of, like, air guitar, and even air drumming and stuff. I don't think I've ever heard of air flying, air navigating. Good looking. Are you that desperate? Or, if she looks good to you, you must have taken a blaster hit when I wasn't looking. Or hard living. Yeah, let's insult the old lady, I guess. Must have taken a blaster hit when I wasn't looking.
Hey, I just got out of prison. If we had a decent navicomputer, trust me, we'd be dropping out of hyperspace into the Nar Shaddaa Red Sector right now.
After spacing that old witch, of course.
Okay, look, ease off the insult. She was wounded helping us escape, remember? Or, never mind, I wanted to ask you some questions. Are we still on course for Telos? Well, let's focus on getting to Telos for the time being. Just cut the chatter and stick to piloting. Yeah. Yes, are we still on course for Telos?
Like we have a choice? It's the only place Varagus had logged in their astrogation charts.
Well, if you thought Varagus was dead, then Telos is a dying world they're trying to breathe back to life. Should be there before too long. You can check our course on the galaxy map if you want. It's on the wall behind you.
Okay, never mind. I wanted to ask you some questions. Yeah, do we have any more questions to ask?
Oh, no. Look, I respect your privacy. I mean, when have I ever asked you any questions? I mean, besides that one.
What did you mean about the galaxy map not being much use? Or do you know anything about that assassin droid? Let's focus on getting to Okay, yeah. Look, I'm not trying to pry into your past at this point. I realize that's going to take probably a couple planets to be able to really get you to open up on that. But assassin droid tried to kill us. That's kind of something that concerns us all. Do you know anything about it?
No, not much. Except sounds like it was after you. As far as I'm concerned, you handled that pretty well. No more droid, no more problem.
What would make droids go crazy like that? Since when do protocol droids collect bounties? Who would build an assassin droid to come after me? Yeah, why do protocol droids... Have you heard of protocol droids accepting or collecting bounties before?
Yeah, well, you got me there. Look, droids, I don't trust them. That one we fought, some of them are built like that. Others just, well, break. In the head. Sometimes conflicting orders cause it. Give a droid too much data or tell it to do something it can't do, it'll crack their behavior module in half. Others just don't get memory wipes and they start going crazy. Speaking of which, I think that little trash compactor's long overdue. Trust me, droids were made to break. And most of all, they're predictable and stupid.
Okay, so T3 and Atten aren't going to get along. Atten and Kreia don't really get along. Kreia did tell T3 to be quiet that one time, but she didn't seem overly... Is this going to be like that problem where you have to get across a river with a wolf, a goat, and a cabbage, or something? I guess would make Kreia the wolf, and the goat and T3 the cabbage, or I don't know. So let's see what did you mean about the galaxy map not being much use?
Well, the astrogation system is voice printed and locked down, but that T3 unit is doubling as the astrogation system. You can try to plot a course, but without that T3 unit to perform the calculations, you'd probably plow us into a star. As long as he doesn't steal the ship, we should be all right.
Yeah, who voice printed the astrogation system? Why would someone lock the astrogation system? Yeah. And do you know who did it? Guy who was stuck on the space station and had nothing to do with the system until like we just got on board. Although I guess if you figured out that it was voice printed, maybe you found some other information about it.
I have no idea. Previous owner, maybe? Love to get it overhauled, but that's a major job. Besides, the droid will be good enough for now.
Why would someone lock it down?
Takes all kinds. Maybe someone didn't want anybody taking the ship out of the system, or knowing where the ship had been. Smugglers do it all the time in case the Republic decides to board them. Or so I hear.
Oh, okay. So you're totally not a smuggler. Got it. Forget it then. Just stick to piloting.
So, what happened?
Huh? I thought you said you weren't asking me questions. Now that I say, okay, conversation over, you're going to ask questions? Okay. To what? What are you talking about? Or just mind your business. What happened to what?
Don't give me that. There were plenty of times back on Paragus where a lightsaber would have been helpful. So where's yours?
Okay, Ed, you just got done saying, like, don't pry into my affairs because I don't, I haven't pried into yours. And now it's not just like, oh, hey, let's hear more about you. Now it's all like, oh, hey, tell me all about this Jedi past thing that you clearly haven't been talking about. Okay, exiles aren't allowed to keep their lightsabers. My lightsaber was taken from me by the Council. Where a Jedi is not defined by their weapon. Let's leave my lightsaber out of this. I mean, I hope a Jedi's not defined by their weapon, because I'm not even planning to use a lightsaber even when we get it back, at least not often. But exiles aren't allowed to keep their lightsabers.
Oh, yeah? I thought a Jedi was supposed to be married to their lightsaber. Guess I heard wrong. Were you a single hilt or one of those double-bladed Jedi?
It was a single hilt. Or double-bladed. I don't remember, and I don't care. No, we totally had one of those cool double-bladed ones.
Huh. I hear the twin blades are harder to master, but they can make enemies stampede over each other running for cover. A lot of Jedi in the Mandalorian Wars use double-bladed sabers. A more aggressive blade gives you more slaughter per swing. Hey, you didn't go red, did you?
Actually, it was. The crystal was redder than a Lagrex eye. Where both the blade and crystal were unique. It's been so long I've forgotten its color. I can barely remember what it used to feel like, much less look like, and I couldn't care less if I ever remember. Now, the blade and crystal were unique, totally.
Yeah? Unique how?
It was a blue lightsaber, usually used by Guardians. That's not that unique. My lightsaber was a green one, like those of the Jedi Consulars. Or a yellow lightsaber, a Jedi Sentinel's blade. Or violet, like hurricane gems in the sunset. Orange, like Hasek's sun. It was a Viridian blade, one the Jedi Order had never seen before. Or silver, like the streams in the room of 1,000 fountains on Coruscant. It's been so long. What color's Viridian? I'm always kind of forgetting. I know I've heard the color, but I'm always forgetting what the color is. Okay, Viridian's a bluish green color, which really isn't that much. Doesn't seem like it'd be that different from a green one. It'd be just maybe a little bit of a darker green. No, it was totally silver. I would, if I could choose to have a unique colored lightsaber, I would totally want it to be silver. That'd be cool.
Must have been something. Sure be nice to have it now. Might make those Sith think twice before coming after us.
It is no matter. It was taken from me long ago. I think having it would just drive them to hunt me harder. Yeah, probably.
Alright, forget I said anything. Like I said before, you can check our course on the galaxy map if you want. It's on the wall behind you.
Okay. So we have Paragus 2. No climate. Asteroid terrain. And Paragus mining station. So I guess... I don't know if the world ever had anything on the surface, but whatever blew it open, I guess, made it so it doesn't have much of an atmosphere anymore. I have the Ebonhawk. And Telos Citadel Station. Climate artificially maintained. Terrain space station. Docking landing zone. And it looks like we have a massive, like, artificial shell over like half the planet. Okay, it's interesting. It's like, I guess that's a space station, but it like covers half the world. All right, let's go there and check it out. Looks a little bit smaller here.
Attention, this is Citadel Station Bay Control, Dock Module 126. Please remain where you are. Lieutenant Dahlgren will arrive shortly to meet you. That is all.
I don't like the sound of that. If they think we caused the explosion... Uh-oh. Here comes the welcoming party. They may not know what happened, so don't blow it.
I'm Lieutenant Gren, Telos Security Force. I'm under orders to take you into custody in regards to the destruction of the Paragus mining facility.
It was totally Atten's fault. The rest of us had nothing to do with it. Are we under arrest? We didn't have anything to do with that. Or how long will this take? Yeah, are we under arrest? Can I see a warrant?
You haven't been formally charged, but you will be placed under house arrest pending the results of our investigation. Due to the nature of the investigation, I have no specific timetable to offer you. In the meantime, your ship and any droids will have to be given over for safekeeping. Yes, that includes you. You are a droid, so you will be detained. In addition, we will have to take your personal arms and armor until the completion of our inquiry.
Will I be able to get my gear back? Or I understand. Or I understand. Or this is outrageous. You don't have any evidence. Yeah, will I be able to get my gear back?
If you are cleared of any involvement, your personal effects will be returned to you. You will be held briefly in the TSF station until living quarters can be arranged, at which point you will be placed under house arrest. Do you understand?
I do. I'll cooperate. Or no. Why are you holding us? Or the TSF can't hold me for anything. We're leaving right now. Do you understand? No, I mean, this actually makes a bit of sense. There's a massive explosion at I guess Paragus and Telos are near enough that they're regular trade neighbors or something. So massive explosion happens. We just came from there or from that direction, and they are like, hey, maybe these guys have some answers. Need to do an investigation. So, okay, yeah, I'll cooperate.
Good. My men will relieve you of any arms and armor. Please follow me.
Tell me I'm not going to jail again.
I don't think I can promise you that. Okay. Somebody approaching our ship.
Here briefly. Living quarters are being arranged for you and your companions as we speak. Someone will return shortly to escort you to an apartment in residential module 082.
Okay, I understand. Wait, I had some questions. A force cage? This is ridiculous. Okay, this does kind of strain things a bit. That okay, we're doing an investigation where we're going to ask you to stay under house arrest in an apartment. Until that apartment is ready, we can't just like leave you in a place, leave you in a room and lock the door, or leave you someplace and have a guard, make sure that you're not going to run. We have to lock you in these force cages where you're kind of strained to standing. This is getting a little bit silly, I have to say. This is a bit ridiculous.
As I said, this is only temporary while other arrangements are made.
Oh, well,
Sorry,
if it's
but
temporary.
You'll just have to bear with us until then.
Okay, so be it, but I'll remember this. Or, I understand. Actually, let's see if we can get any questions or any answers out of him.
I have many matters to tend to. Your questions will have to wait.
Well, we might be here for a while. Might as well get comfortable.
Someone is coming. So this is the last of the Jedi. I must admit I'm a little disappointed.
Hey, you're wrong. I'm no Jedi. What's going on? Well, let me out of this cage and we'll see how disappointed you are. Okay, let's start trying to get a feel for the situation. What's going on?
The exchange has a bounty on Jedi, you know. You're worth quite a bit of money.
The exchange, huh? I'm pretty sure some two-bit pistol jockey like yourself isn't one of them.
Hey, I'm more than skilled enough to work for the exchange.
You bounty hunters couldn't even win a fair fight. You're the cheapest, most worthless mercenary scum in the galaxy. I'd hire a Mandalorian over your filth in a second.
No Mandalorian could match my skills. No Mandalorian could have been clever enough to infiltrate this station, taken the identity of one of the guards, then...
Then what? Overloaded our force cage fields and made it look like an accident? You probably don't even have the guts to fight me. Pathetic.
Don't think overloading your cages had not occurred to me. You're wanted alive, but I doubt anyone will care as long as I bring them your corpse.
We're in a TSF station. How do you expect to get away with this? Or, why are you here? Let's get this over with. Okay, so yeah, you didn't come in to overload our force cages, so why are you here?
Like I said, the exchange has put out a huge bounty on Jedi. I'm just looking forward to early retirement.
Okay. And how exactly do you expect that you're going to get away with this and nobody's going to detect what's going on?
The security cameras have mysteriously shorted out. There will be no witnesses to your escape attempt, during which I'll have been forced to kill you. By the time the TSF realize I'm not one of them, I will be far from this place.
I don't wish to fight you, or your body's staying right here. Let's get this over with. Well, I mean, yeah, I really don't want to fight you. You really don't sound like you're much of a competent threat, so it's gonna be a little bit... I don't know, I just don't like beating up people who really don't even stand a chance.
Easier for me then. Come, Jedi. It is time to die.
Hey, leave him alone. You want to fight? Then try me if you've got the guts.
You have goaded me once, and you shall not do so twice. But I shall dispose of all of you eventually. And an old woman, a fool, and a broken Jedi are no match to my skills.
Everybody seems to recognize Atten as a fool pretty quickly, so... Wait, are you letting all of us out? Okay, well... That sounds even worse plan, but... Batu Rem.
The security cameras... What? What's going on here?
Man down! Quick! Call a medic!
All right, Jedi. I want you to back up slowly. Hands in front of you. Into the force cage. Cooperate, and we won't have to gun you down.
Come on, Lieutenant. They've already killed... who is that? Is that Batu Rem?
He said he was an assassin. Or no, he was an assassin. It's a good thing I didn't have to depend on you for protection. Impressive. You allowed an assassin to infiltrate your ranks. Yeah, that... Sorry, that really wasn't a great look for you guys. So, fortunately we managed to take care of it, so...
Rem's no assassin.
Batu Rem is on leave. He shouldn't even be on the station. This man isn't him.
So what's going to happen now? Or how did he manage to sneak in here? Glad someone noticed that only after he tried to kill me. How did he manage to sneak in here?
That's something we're going to have to look into. I can tell you that it can't have been easy.
Great, that's reassuring.
We've arranged for an apartment in residential module 082. You'll stay there under house arrest until our investigation of the Paragus matter is complete. You'll be under TSF protection. I'll personally clear any visitors to your quarters, and we'll investigate this incident to the best of our ability.
Let's go. We're great, another investigation. Or the best of your ability? That's not very inspiring. I don't know, it might be a little dark to say that, but honestly, it's not very inspiring given what just happened here. Did he just shrug? Okay, just take me to my quarters.
Officer, get Lieutenant Yima a report of this incident. She'll look into this. The rest of you come with me. We'll escort you to the apartment in 082 immediately.
Oh, dibs on any loot that guy had, by the way.
These will serve as your quarters for the duration of your house arrest. 2 officers will be stationed outside at all times. Again, I'll clear any visitors. There won't be another incident.
But just to be on the safe side, why don't you leave us a blaster or 2?
How long will I be here? Or get out? How long is this going to take?
I can't say. We have a ship examining what's left of the Paragus facility now, so your stay might be brief. We'll keep you informed.
Now, this is a step up from a force cage, at least.
If there are any problems, we'll use the wall terminal to contact you. Let's go.
This isn't good. We've got to get off this station.
Why do we need to leave? Or let's not discuss this now. Yeah, why are we so anxious to leave?
What do you think the TSF is going to find at Paragus? That could bring the Sith... You know what? Forget it. As long as we're trapped here, it doesn't matter.
What do you think, Kreia?
We cannot stay in any one place too long, but our path has brought us here for a reason. I must meditate on this. In the meantime, we should rest.
Yeah, you go ahead and meditate. As for me, I could use some sleep.
Okay, let's rest. At least they provided us 3 beds, so that's good. As Atten said, it is a step up from the force cage. Oh, apparently we're going to meditate as well.
Yes? Have you come with questions?
Okay, it sounds like it's just going to be some... I was wondering if she'd say anything specific about our situation, but... Okay. Incoming call. Sokolinu TSF officer. Let's accept the call.
Excuse me, you have a caller. Moza, representing the Ithorian planet restoration interests on Telos. Lieutenant Gren's cleared him if you'd like to speak with him.
Yes, please send him in. What does he want? Or no, I don't wish to speak to anyone now. Yeah, did he say what he wants?
He says he wishes to speak with you on behalf of Chodo Habat. That's all he will say.
Okay, fine, send him in.
Very well. I'll let him in now.
Thank you for seeing me. I am Moza, and I have come to see you on behalf of Chodo Habat, our leader here. Okay, What is this about? Or what does Chodo want with me? Why didn't he come himself? Yes, what is this about? Are you familiar with the restoration project on Telos? No, could you explain it to me? The surface of Telos was destroyed during the Jedi Civil War a few years ago. Citadel Station uses energy fields to seal off portions of the planet's surface, then generates and controls the weather patterns over each thing. Once the weather in a zone is stabilized, new animal and plant life is introduced to restore the ecosystem. Recently, however, we have run into contention with the corporation known as Zerka. Perhaps you have heard of our recent troubles? Okay, wow. Do not give much time to read that. So, essentially the planet was destroyed, and I guess the reason this station is so large is it'll like hover over part of the planet and work on like reestablishing its weather and stuff, and then move on to another zone, which would also explain why I guess when we saw the station there were all these like open parts to it. So I guess if it's meant to be over one part of the planet while it works on it, that would make sense to have open parts so you're not just completely blocking off the sun permanently, and that would probably make any attempts to get the planet up and running again not work so well. But so, what troubles have you had? The Thorians are well known as ecologists and agricultural engineers. The Telosian government asked those of my herd of planets damaged by things went smoothly at first. The Republic funded us generously, hoping Telos would be a modified restoration of planets damaged by the war. Funding enabled us to purchase flora and fauna from Onderon. Upgrades to Citadel Station's shield network have allowed us to purify and reseed small portions of the surface. Then the troubles began. Republic relations with Onderon began to deteriorate, increasing the purchase and transport costs of our biological materials. And as the station grew, the Telosian security force was no longer large enough to police the entire station. Zerka approached the Republic and offered supply and security contracts. Their paramilitary security division now polices 2/3 of Citadel Station. Zerka has integrated themselves into the Telosian political system and economy. They are currently pressing to be awarded our planet restoration contracts. Their efforts hinder our cause greatly, and will have terrible consequences for the planet's restoration. Okay. Yeah, definitely gonna have to read these guys a bit faster. So, how is Zerka harming the restoration project? Or so, how could I help? Could you get to the point? Yeah, what's the harm they're doing? Zerka recently wrested control of a number of restoration zones on the planet's surface from us. Those zones begin to deteriorate within weeks. If this continues, the restoration process will be brought to a halt, and the Republic will not be willing to continue the funding needed to resurrect it. Telos will remain dead forever. Okay. So, the Ithorians have been working on restoring bits of the surface, and I guess it sounds like Zerka has come in and basically said, hey, we can do it better and faster or something, or would like to help out. But the areas that Zerka has taken over have deteriorated rather quickly, and so now the Ithorians are worried that, hey, the Republic might look at that and say that the whole thing's a failure and just cut all the funding. So why would Zerka do this? How did they take the restoration zones? Or so how could I help? Okay, why would Zerka do this? I wonder that myself. What does one of the largest weapons manufacturers in the galaxy want with planet restoration contracts? Good question. Perhaps they seek unrestricted access to Telos' surface, which is normally forbidden. Even we can only land at our established landing sites. How did they take the restoration zones? Through a combination of legal loopholes, purchase political favors, strong-arm tactics, and sabotage. We Ithorians are simply not prepared to deal with such. We are a passive people. We wish only to help restore the natural beauty of Telos. So that does kind of fit with what's known of the Ithorians in Star Wars lore, that they tend to be rather passive and pacifistic to a certain extent. I don't think it's necessarily true that they would never fight. Certainly not that individuals would never fight. But they tend to be more, like, generous and focused on helping, and so that as a people, it can also be rather easily taken advantage of. And presumably in something like this, they're very interested in wanting to help Telos and restore it, but maybe not so up to, hey, some government officials are going to be expecting us to work to a timetable, or there might be some legal matters that we need to make sure that we're keeping up on, or someone else might take over and stuff like that. So yeah, how can I help? KotOR2 is a powerful priest, our spiritual leader. He sensed something upon your arrival, a disturbance, an echo in the Force. Chodo felt you might be able to aid us. He bid me tell you if you could help heal Telos, it may be possible for him to heal you. Heal me? Or what do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean? I am unclear as to what Chodo means by this. He says the echo he felt upon your arrival suggests that you yourself are damaged. He can feel the pain through the Force.
Perhaps KotOR2 should turn his eyes to his own people, if they truly suffer so.
Forgive me, I am unclear as to Chodo's message, and I may have related it incorrectly. If this offer of mutual aid interests you, please go to the Ithorian compound here in Residential 082 when you are able. KotOR2 would be most pleased to see you. I'll speak with your leader when I'm freed. Or I'll consider it. Or, no, doesn't seem worth my while. Yeah, once I'm out of here, I'll go speak to the Ithorian, see what's going on. This pleases me. Perhaps we will speak later then. Farewell.
Now perhaps we will be able to rest uninterrupted.
I doubt it. What's our journal entry say? Okay. Caller, Moza, representing the Ithorian Planet Restoration interests on Telos, wants you to come to the Ithorian compound in Residential Module 082 West and speak to KotOR2. False Batu. An assassin disguised as Batu Ram, a TSF officer on Citadel Station, made an attempt on your life while you were imprisoned there. It might be worth trying to find out who hired him and why. Oh, actually... Oh, okay. Damn. Messages log. We can look through the conversations. Where's the part that I was really having trouble keeping up? The surface of Telos was destroyed during the Jedi Civil War a few years ago. This Citadel Station is part of the Republic's Planetary Restoration Initiative. Citadel Station uses energy fields to seal off portions of the planet's surface, then generates and controls the weather patterns over each area. Once the weather in a zone is stabilized, new animal and plant life is introduced to restore the ecosystem. Okay. We've run into contention with the corporation known as Zerka. Ithorians are well known as ecologists and agricultural engineers. The Telosian government asked those of my herd to help restore their planet. Things went smoothly at first. The Republic funded us generously, hoping Telos would be a model for the restoration of planets damaged by the war. The funding enabled us to purchase flora and fauna from Onderon. Upgrades to Citadel Station's shield network have allowed us to purify and reseed small portions of the surface. Then the troubles began. Republic relations with Onderon began to deteriorate, increasing the purchase and transport costs of our biological materials. And as the station grew, the Telosian security force was no longer enough to police the entire station. Zerka approached the Republic and offered supply and security contracts. Their paramilitary security division now polices 2/3 of Citadel Station. Zerka has integrated themselves into the Telosian political system and economy. They are currently pressing to be awarded our planet restoration contracts. Okay. So that's what was the parts where we were kind of losing it. So, okay, good thing to remember. We do have the messages bit here if we can read through stuff if we miss it. So, all right, let's see who's calling now. Okay. B4D4 Zerka Corporation, Citadel Branch. Okay, accept the call.
Good day. I am B4D4, Administrative Assistant for Zerka Corporation's Citadel Station Branch. I am attempting to connect you with Executive Officer Jana Lorso. May I
Okay. Yes, go ahead. What does she want? No, I don't want to speak to her. Why isn't it the TSF officer contacting us? Has she been... Has the Zerka people been vetted by the TSF? Although I guess if Zerka's in charge of 2/3 of the security here, it might be that they have connections that is just like, yeah, if we want to do something, TSF isn't going to tell us no because we run security more than they do. Yeah. So, okay, what does she want?
I am sorry, but I do not know. I am only her administrative assistant. May I put you through?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. I will connect you now. Good day.
Thank you for accepting my call. As my assistant no doubt informed you, I am Jana Lorso.
Okay. I guess my first question was going to be about the diamond eyebrows, but that doesn't seem to be an option. So why are you calling?
I understand that you were approached by an Ithorian earlier. Doubtless he tried to obtain your help, attempting to purchase it with imposed guilt and veiled threats.
It's odd she's flanked by a couple statues that appear to be people bowing or kneeling. Actually kind of strike me as, didn't we see some of those statues on Korriban? Like the ones we said were like slave statues? Imposed guilt? I don't recall him threatening me. Go on. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe you could say imposed guilt, saying like it's for the good of the both the restoration project here and for the good of the galaxy, because it'll be used on it. But I didn't get the impression that he was doing it to try to guilt us into it. It seemed more like he's just saying, yeah, this is why we're doing it. And I certainly don't recall him threatening me, so...
Oh, and I suppose he didn't mention the exchange, helping you with any problems here? In other words, the Ithorians won't need the exchange to you if you work with them.
No, he didn't mention anything like that.
Well, no matter. My apologies. I never intended to waste your time discussing Ithorians.
Okay, go on.
I believe you're a person of influence. Someone I'd like on my side, rather than aiding the Ithorians, whose quasi-mysticism and bumbling foolishness is standing in the way of progress and profit. I'm not asking for your help, though. I'm offering you a job. Work for Zerka and be handsomely rewarded. You'd be helping yourself. If you're interested, please visit our offices here in Residential 082. B44 will know what to do when you arrive.
Huh. Okay, so at least Zerka is incredibly honest with their sales pitch here. It's like, no, we're not asking you to help. We're flat out just offering you a job. We are making no pretense that what you're doing is going to be for like, some noble goal or anything. It's just you want money, you come to us. You work with us. So, it seems like we're going to be choosing sides here, and I'm pretty sure which side I'm leaning towards personally. But how are the Ithorians in the way of things? What sort of work are we talking about? I'll come by when I can. How are Ithorians in the way of things?
Their plans for the restoration of Telos are aimless and meandering. Restore the sacred natural beauty of Telos, they say. Just what does that mean? How does that apply to natural resource development and consumption? The proper planning of urban sectors, resorts and tourism? It doesn't. The Ithorians are spending billions of Republic credits on a plan with no defined profit. If it continues, they'll drive the Republic into irreparable debt and have nothing to show for it but a few meadows and a weather generator the size of a small continent.
I mean, some might argue that a weather generator the size of a continent is quite a bit to show for it just in itself, regardless of what it does for the planet. But I don't know. There's well, I was gonna say there's something you said for like funding the arts as well. I'm not sure if this would really be funding the arts, or culture, or I don't know. There's more to the galaxy than just profit, What sort of work are we talking about?
I'd rather discuss that in person. I'll be more than happy to answer any and all questions when you visit our offices.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, I'm not very interested. You didn't even try to make it sound like we're helping people or anything. It's just get rich. That's not really what I'm here for, so.
That's too bad. Well, you know where we are if you change your mind. Citadel Station is at a crossroads right now, you know. And so are you. Don't take the wrong road.
We should get back to bed. Whenever they decide to release us, we should get going immediately.
So it's interesting that she was talking about veiled threats, and then at the end, like, oh yeah, you don't want to be on the wrong side of what's coming. So it seems, to me, it seems a bit of a veiled threat, but.
Explain something to me.
I do not have the years required, nor the desire to indulge you.
If he served in the war, well, Jedi are supposed to be tough, capable.
Yes, and what are they without the Force? Take the greatest Jedi Knight, strip away the Force, and what remains? They rely on it, depend on it more than they know. Watch as one tries to hold a blaster, as they try to hold a lightsaber, and you will see nothing more than a
I'm right over here.
man, a child.
But to lose so much, I guess I didn't realize how much they relied on it.
Do not be surprised. In many ways, even you are more capable than a Jedi. You could survive where they could not simply because you do not hear the Force as they do. It is irony of a sort, and it is why I tolerate your presence now.
But such a loss of ability, for a Jedi, it seems so extreme.
He has been gone from war some time. It is conflict that strengthens us, and isolation that weakens us, erodes us. Add to that he turned away from war, did all that he could to forget it, and the last piece clicks into place. But we have spoken enough of this, and we do him a disservice by not speaking of this while he is present.
Did you see the size of this room? How could I not hear everything you said?
I've come to inform you that the Telosian government has completed its inspection of what's left of the Paragas facility. It appears that the Harbinger had indeed been present, though it was gone when our ships arrived and was responsible for the station's destruction. Logs recovered from the facility's wreckage indicated that the miners perished as a result of sabotage, which began while you and your companions were either incapacitated or incarcerated. As such, you are to be released from house arrest. However, the Republic is sending its own ship. They have insisted that you remain on station for the duration of their search.
Why is the Republic sending a ship? Or how long will I have to stay? Yeah, why is the Republic sending a ship here?
To further investigate the station's destruction and search for their missing ship, the Harbinger.
Okay, how long is that going to take?
The sojourn is already en route, likely not more than a few standard days. Feel free to use these quarters during your stay.
Oh, okay. It's nice, get a free room out of it. Is the Ebon Hawk still impounded?
The vessel's IND is complete. Please visit the TSF station and Entertainment Module 081 to complete the necessary paperwork at the front desk. The Ebon Hawk should be transferred from the impound docks by the time you're free to leave.
Okay, what about my droid?
After filling out the paperwork, it'll be transferred with your ship along with your confiscated weapons and armor.
Okay, so probably going to want to go there first and get our equipment.
Well, now what? We can't just stick around. We need to find a way off this station. Whether it's the Ebon Hawk or some other ship. We could hit Nar Shaddaa, maybe. If you've got people coming after you, it's where you go to get lost in the crowd.
You know that from experience? Or why do we need to leave? What do you think, Kreia? Let's not discuss this now. Yeah, do you know that from experience?
Hey, everyone needs to get lost once in a while. Get away from something, you know? It's no big deal.
Okay. Yeah, what do you think, Kreia?
It is difficult to say. I feel we came to Telos for a reason, but we may have spent too much time here already. Even if the Harbinger was destroyed at Paragas, more Sith could already be on their way. Still, there is a chance we might learn of other Jedi here, on the planet's surface. Jedi who might help us restore your abilities, or sever the link between us.
Well, what do you think?
Stay or explore Telos, we need a ship. Let's find the Ebon Hawk. Why don't we ask the Republic for help against the Sith? Or other Jedi? I should see if I can find anything out here. Yeah, let's see if we can find anything about other Jedi out here.
It is unlikely, but we shall see.
Okay. Well, I think with that, we're kind of coming to the end of our time. This seems like a good stopping point. I guess first we'll level up these two so we can... don't have to worry about that next time. Okay, Fighting Spirit. Ooh, what's Fighting Spirit do? I don't see Fighting Spirit. Maybe it doesn't appear on this list. We'll have to check it once we're done. Scoundrel's Luck. Okay, that's the defense bonus. So what do we want? We can make him better with some weapons, some special abilities. Improve close combat. Character has mastered fighting with ranged weapons in close combat. When the character's target is at short range, they receive a +2 attack bonus. Additionally, when these characters are engaged in melee combat with their attacker, or melee combat, their attackers receive only +2 attack bonus instead of the usual +6. Okay, so yeah, especially with how often characters seem to run into melee. Oh, where's that teamwork one? Well, maybe Atten doesn't want to be a team player at the moment, I guess. Maybe he'll learn to do it later. Okay. Yeah, let's with how often we have characters just running into melee range with their blasters, probably good to give them all the help they can get. Then we'll probably focus on trying to do these precise shots, make them give them more of a chance of hitting stuff. What's this? Okay, that's finesse. So, okay. Alright, and okay, we can't upgrade any of her stuff, but we can give her healing ability. That's going to be rather helpful. Oh, I guess we haven't used Kreia in a couple levels, so yeah, we're going to have to level her up a couple times. That's right, because we leveled up, I think we leveled up once or twice when she was fighting the Sith. So. At some point we're probably going to want to, maybe we want to give her a lightsaber? Maybe, I guess since she doesn't have a lightsaber yet, it might be good to give her the ability to deflect some blaster bolts. There we go. Hey, we are definitively light side now. We're getting a blue background. It's good. So with that, let's call it a night, and we should be here all of next week, both for Zelda on Monday, and then returning to Knights of the Old Republic on Friday. So thank you for joining me. Have a good weekend, and see you next time.